sai Buhari, Najeriya sai Buhari, Najeriya sai Buhari, Najeriya sai Buhari, Najeriya. Ku gaya musu yancin namu ba na sayarwa ba. Ku faɗa musu da cutar su mu ba mu manta ba. Ku faɗa musu yanci za mu bi ba da gari ba. Ku faɗa musu ko gobe Buhari muke duba. Ku faɗa musu APC muke ba miya ba. Ku faɗa musu BBC mu ba na sayarwa ba. Mama Hadiza Bala Usman ta ce mu faɗi muku. Nasabul muka ɗau aniyar zuwa mu sanar muku. Ga Buhari da Usman Baje su suka fi muku. Ku je ku faɗa masu. Ku kare gaya musu. Mazan mu da mata. Ga cancanta. Baba Buhari. Idan ka da fari. Sai mu bi shi da sauri. Ba mu raina mafari. Baba Mariya Bala Usman ta Baba Masari. Ki tura kwakwaro maya anti ta Baba Masari. Da zaki na yau tawaga ta mawaka na Buhari. Da mu jinjina in ji an ta Hadiza ya ta Buhari. Kyala batu na dala mu ɗauki 'yanci a gyara ƙasa da.
Najeriya ba ta saidawa ba cewa har gobe mu Buharin daura muke so. Najeriya muna yanci ba dalawa.
Najeriya ba ta saidawa ba ce ba, har gobe mu Buharin daura muke so. Najeriya muna yanci ba dala ba.
Najeriya ba ta saidawa ba cewa har gobe mu Buharin daura muke so. Najeriya muna yanci ba dalawa.
Suwan ka Buhari mai damari na samun ka da alkhairi. Kuma sa'ada wasu na shaidar da ba ka nufi sharri. Samari da tsaro kayo noma ƙasa ya yi tasiri. Ba mu butulci ba ka ja mu samu cikin buri. Ga ruwa a port an yi gyara. Yawa
Ruwa a pot an yi gyara.
wuta ta samu ba kai kara.
Baba ka ja. Wani sabon mu samu tsira.
Fannin sufuri na jirgin ƙasa da motoci kwarai kai gyara ba.
Ruwa a pot an yi gyara.
Hadiza Bala ta ce mu faɗa maka yanzu rago kaɗai ke ƙara.
Baba ka ja. Wani sabon mu samu tsira.
Masu bakin ciki su yi mu murnar mu muke ta kawo ci tsara baba. Yawa
Ruwa a pot an yi gyara.
Hajiya Zainab Bala Usman na agogo bana ta aiki. Tilas in sa da ke a cikin baiti na in yabe ki. Mu yaba maka rujini na abinci sadauki ne na yaki. Ministan sufuri mun shaida kun ta malala aiki. Kai kuma ga mana tambari na masaru uba a gare mu zaki. Maimaita mana baba mu jama'ar ka muna ta shauki. Gwamnan Katsinawa a yau har gobe ka ja mu maiki. Tahiru Bala dan Usman ruwa mai kara wanki. Tahiru Bala dan Usman da sadauki kara yaki. Ku ja mu muje ga next level jama'a murna muke samun kowa.
Najeriya ba ta saidawa ba cewa har gobe mu Buharin daura muke so. Najeriya muna yanci ba dalawa.
Alhamdulillahi sau miliyan 100,000 ga baba nan yana yin aiki gari gari. Babu ba a fito ra'ayin mutan gari. Mun gamsu baba ya gyara bangaren tsaro. Ya tallafa wa noma dukan mu mun gani. Harkar wuta da lantarki ka biya ni. Ɗaukar matasa aiki yan fawa mun gani. Sannan tire da moni har ma market money. Kuma ka biya kuɗin pension duka mun gani. Baba Buhari populous for mu je zuwa gaba. Albasa tire da ke cewa. Buhari ya dawo.
Buhari ya dawo.
Bai nisa ba baba ya dawo.
Zakin 'yan Najeriya dogo.
A bera ya daina kai kawo.
Buhari ya dawo.
Garkuwar talaka ya dawo.
Zakin 'yan Najeriya dogo.
Ake na tsaro ya ƙara kankama.
Buhari ya dawo.
A daɗa bunƙasa ayyukan noma.
Zakin 'yan Najeriya dogo.
Talabin yan bawa ai ta yi shi ma.
Buhari ya dawo.
Tire da mu wani ci gaba a sama.
Zakin 'yan Najeriya dogo.
Ga kasile da jarumar mata.
Buhari ya dawo.
Aisha Buhari garkuwar mata.
Zakin 'yan Najeriya dogo.
A birni ƙauye naki ne mata.
Buhari ya dawo.
Har kamar yayi duk kina gata.
Zakin 'yan Najeriya dogo.
Yanzu ƙasar mu za ta bunƙasa.
ya kara samun dama. Gaisuwa ga manzan Allah gatan mu har da aljannu ma. Alihi sahabbai na sa shirfa uban kishewun naiwa.
Wasu so ba Allah ya so ba har garkuwar talakawa dodon mazambata ya dawo.
Ashe kyan tafiya na ce a yau dawowa. Ku gafara ya dawo, baba gashi nan ya dawo. Buhari ikon Allah, baba dokin karfe. Dodon maza dattijo, Buhari gumbar dutse. Bango kowai ya tare ka, a dole sai ya wase. Baba ba maza a gaban ka, yau cikin tabo sun ka nutse. Karya suke yi dama ni na sani ba za su iya ba. Kamar a yau aka fara gashi mai shigo next level. Hajji an bar daura uwar mu maganin kukan mu. Idan da ke tafiyar nan la shakka babu mai jin kanmu. In kice sarkin yakin Aisha Buhari.
To, PRO kamun in baka, mama na akwai waka sama da 35 ko ni kadai.
That was Rabiu M. Yaro, one of the APC singers, having a field day here entertaining the wife of the president, who can be seen actually happy with the way he is appreciating her husband and the good work he has been doing for the country in the last 3.5 years. And in fact, the wife of the president is actually happy as she is here to celebrate with the 1.2 million eligible voters in Katsina State who vote for her husband during the presidential election, which makes the turnout the second highest in the number of votes that the president, Muhammadu Buhari, scored in the entire country. Katsina State came second after Kano State, recording over 1.2 million votes, while Kano gave the president 1.4 million votes.
Allah ya taya shi riko. To, DJ in ka shirya ka bani kiɗa Hajiya Ambaru uwata babata Allah ya ƙara daga kidan arzikin Annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mutanen Daura Allah ya ƙara kare ku daga sharrin masu sharri. Mun ga sharrin amma sai ya koma kansu. Suna nan sun yi walangeluwa. Kuma ran Asabar APC sak ina ƙara faɗa DJ ka bani kiɗa. My Excellency ba.
We cannot afford to go back to the days of violence and mayhem.
President Buhari demands explanation from PDP on how it expanded the huge resources accrued to the country from oil sales between 1999 and 2014.
With this arrangement, we are confident that all polling units will open at 8 in the morning nationwide.
INEC Chairman, Acting Inspector General of Police and representatives of security agencies meet ahead of Saturday's governorship and Houses of Representatives elections. Traditional rulers enjoin Nigerians to conduct themselves peacefully while voting for the candidates of their choice on Saturday. Hello, good evening and welcome to Network News. I am Joseph Johnson in Abuja. Also reading with me tonight is Ingunu John Adams in our Lagos Network Center. President Muhammadu Buhari says federal government will enhance its collaboration with states in tackling security challenges across the country through the aid of modern technology. The president stated this at the inauguration of Command and Control Center for Aerial Surveillance and Monitoring System in Kaduna. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari expressed delight with the efforts of security agencies and the support being given by state governors in combating security challenges. He said the federal government will support Kaduna State government, which has allocated significant resources for the infusion of technology into the security architecture by providing the Aerial Surveillance Control Center equipped with drones that have the capacity to cover more than 600 kilometers in detecting crime scenes for immediate response.
The collaboration between the Nigerian Air Force and the Kaduna State government and aid the successful acquisition and deployment of this technology for enhanced internal security. I wish to commend the stream of the Kaduna State government to commit the significant resources required for infusing technology into the security architecture.
Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai said the aerial surveillance and monitoring system drones will be mounted in strategic locations across the state to monitor and detect crimes.
We believe that in the 21st century, technology can enhance the hard work of the security agencies. Therefore, we decided after careful assessment to invest in modern technology.
Being the third state where President Buhari scored the highest number of votes during the just concluded presidential election, President Muhammadu Buhari thanked the people of Kaduna for their support and peaceful conduct, urging them to do more in the next round of elections. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NT News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari said the People's Democratic Party still owes Nigerians explanations on how the humongous resources that accrued to the country from oil sales between 1999 and 2014 were expended. Receiving the leadership of the organized labor on a congratulatory visit, the president insists that Nigerians deserve an answer on what he called the irresponsible and terrible mismanagement of the country. State House correspondent Adam Sama reports on the resolve by the president to work more closely with the organized labor to push the change agenda.
Really, there was terrible mismanagement of this country in the last 20 years. And we are just trying to make up. And we cannot succeed without your cooperation.
Exchanging views with the leadership of the labor unions comprising, amongst others, the NLC, TUC, Nupeng, Pengasan, Ipman, Nolge, and the National Union of Road Transport Workers, President Muhammadu Buhari sincerely thanked them for embarking on voter education for peaceful elections, as well as stepping in to support willing Nigerians travel with ease to exercise their civic rights.
You intervene as patriots. It was not for political, religious, and tribal purposes. You simply did the right thing during a very difficult period for many of us. On behalf of all Nigerians who benefited from your kind support, I want to say thank you. As we prepare for this weekend, my prayer is we also conduct the state election in a non-violent manner. We cannot afford to go back to the days of violence and mayhem.
The president also used the opportunity to once again thank Nigerians for giving him another 4-year mandate to continue pushing his administration's change agenda.
We will remain focused on our core pillars of reform: security, economy, and fight against corruption. I want to assure you that we, as government, will partner with all of you to ensure the next 4 years will be peaceful, prosperous, and corruption-free.
Speaking on behalf of the Labour leadership, NLC President Ayuba Waba told the President that the entire working people in Nigeria felicitated with him over his re-election and are desirous of sustained partnership for a better Nigeria.
I remember, Your Excellency, you publicly and openly asked state governors, how do you manage to sleep at night when the salaries of your workers in your states are not being paid? For us, that was one of the finest moments we have had with any president in this country. Your Excellency, I can stand here today and say your intervention was the difference between life and death for many of our workers and pensioners.
While urging the president to continue making the nation's poor the centerpiece of his policy initiatives and actions in the next level, the organized labor made a case for sustained efforts at job creation, provision of affordable power, economic diversification, and revitalization of public service.
Your Excellency, organized labor remain committed partners in national progress, peace, and stability. We urge governments to continue to engage us in national building, and we assure you we will continue also to support government policies and programs. We must consolidate on your successes of the past 4 years by strengthening the relationship between government and organized labor. Please be assured we are ready and willing to do our bit.
The labor unions promised to remain veritable partners in progress with the Buhari presidency, but hope that as soon as the bill on the new national minimum wage, now before the National Assembly, is passed, it will be assented to within the shortest time possible for implementation. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived Daura in Katsina State ahead of the governorship and State Houses of Assembly elections on Saturday. State House correspondent Adamu Samba reports that the president was received at Umaru Musa Yar'Adua International Airport, Katsina, by Governor Aminu Bello Masari. President Buhari, who is visiting the state for the first time since his re-election for a second term in office, was also accorded a befitting welcome by party stalwarts, the business community and other well-wishers. A similar reception was also given to the president by his enthusiastic support on arrival at his country home of Daura. Leading the welcoming party was the of his victory at the polls, is expected to join the voting populace on Saturday to exercise his franchise in the governorship and State Houses of Assembly elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and security chiefs have assured Nigerians of better outing on these Saturday's elections as they meet to review the February 23rd national elections. Mia Ogede reports on the outcome of the meeting.
29 governors, 991 members of the State Houses of Assembly, 6 area council chairmen, 66 councillors in the Federal Capital Territory, 7 senatorial and 24 federal constituency by-elections will form the content of choice for 72.7 million Nigerians come March 9th, 2019. So, those in charge of election administration and security chiefs are back to the drawing board to re-strategize for more impressive outing.
The Commission has effectively tackled the challenge of logistics. Materials for the election have been delivered to all the states and the FCT. With this arrangement, we are confident that all polling units will open at 8 in the morning nationwide.
That is the sunny side of the story. But on the other side lies the challenges INEC faced in the previous elections, ranging from non-use of smart card readers in some polling units and hostage-taking of INEC staff. So, are there plans to forestall this in this Saturday's elections?
We saw what you've done before, we've known your modus operandi, and we are ready for you.
The Commission will not tolerate the act of holding our officials hostage and forcing them to declare winners under duress. Where such occurs, the Commission will not reward bad behavior by issuing them the certificates of return.
As the elections approach, the courtrooms are also getting judgments in favor and against candidates. For instance, governorship candidates of the APC in Taraba State and that of PDP in Kano State were given red alert not to participate in the elections. But is INEC aware of this?
Well, we are yet to be served, but we learned about the judgments in the cases of candidates of two different political parties emanating from Kano and Taraba. The position of the Commission is very simple. The logos of the parties are on the ballots in both Kano and Taraba. It's the issue of who is the rightful candidate. So elections will be conducted with the parties on the ballot. Then after elections, the issue of who is the rightful candidate will then be determined.
At the end of the elections, the winners are expected to smile home with certificates of return. And Thursday, 14th of March 2019, will be the day for National Assembly members-elect at the International Conference Center in Abuja, while governors and State House of Assembly members-elect are to receive their certificates of return at the various state INEC offices across the country. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
Now, governance and security are two sides of the coin that shape the society through the populace as electorate. On the 9th of March, Nigerians will again go to the polls to decide those who would rule them for the next 4 years. In this report, Runke Kolawole takes a look at how the Nigeria Police Force have played its roles in the 2019 general elections as the second segment of the election draws closer.
Left, right is a trademark during parade. Beyond that, the police is said to be a friend of the people.
The way they handle the electorate, it was very, very commendable.
The security officers, they all did well. There was calm. There was no problem at all.
They are putting their best. And I know by the grace of God, with the new IG, they'll do more.
The rating goes on, and the views are the same, that the Nigeria Police Force stepped up its efforts to providing adequate security for the February 23 election. The election for many is not without lessons, especially with pockets of violence recorded in some parts of the country.
Politicians are known to hit the polity, and the advice to them is not to hit up the polity, not to arm or send out young persons under the guise of political talks or party agents.
They should first of all conduct themselves so that their supporters will look at them and emulate from them and follow same peaceful and orderly manner.
A look at the Presidential and National Assembly polls indicates that more than 3,000 operatives were deployed nationwide to man the election, a development many say speaks volume on sincerity of purpose for a police force of 350,000 to have almost all its personnel in service delivery.
We were able to design a security arrangement to tackle both the general threats as well as specific threats.
With March 9 few days away, the force had thoroughly assessed its performance in the February 23 election and came up with improved strategy to secure states.
Taking into cognizance the prevailing security situation, the history of the state as it relates to electoral violence and electoral-related offences.
The consensus of the interviewees is for the Nigeria Police Force to remain apolitical, professional and civil in handling the forthcoming general election across the country. Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
Until talking security, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says the Army is not interfering with the electoral process as insinuated in some quarters, but rather the force is supporting the civil society as enshrined in the Constitution. The Army Chief said this while receiving a delegation of election observers from the European Union. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The European Union, a political and economic assembly of 28 member nations, established in 1993, is in Nigeria on the invitation of the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC. The EU has participated in election monitoring in the country since 1999. From January, the delegation has been interacting with key players on the 2019 elections in different states.
And it's very important for us to understand a little more of some of the security challenges that there are in such an extensive operation as an election in Nigeria, and the way that your services have approached this, some of the challenges that you've had. In a few months, we'll return and we'll be issuing a final report with recommendations.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, noted that, though there were reported cases of violence and ballot box snatching, the security situation of the concluded electoral process was an improvement over those held in the past.
The issue of manpower, the issue of logistics, are quite enormous challenge to the Nigerian police, and we have to come to support them at this period in order to have a very peaceful elections.
There was presentation on the Nigerian Army's effort in securing the recent presidential and National Assembly elections. From the Nigerian Army headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Sultanate Council of Sokoto has called on Nigerians to come out en masse to vote candidates of choice in a peaceful manner. A statement signed by Secretary to the Sultanate Council of Sokoto, Omar Farouk Ladan, calls on the public to avoid any act that will distract peace before, during and after the election. It also appeals to INEC to ensure the conduct of free, fair and credible elections. The Sultanate Council also urged security agencies to remain neutral and act in accordance with the laid down rules and regulations of election as provided by the laws of the country. Appreciating the Muslim clerics for their prayers, the council calls on them to hold special prayers for peaceful elections in the country, while urging leaders of political parties to warn their members against any acts capable of disrupting the peace of the nation. Leader of the All Progressives Congress APC in Kwara State, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has called or has urged the people of Kwara to resist any attempt to be intimidated from coming out to exercise their civic responsibility by voting for their preferred candidates in Saturday's gubernatorial and Houses of Assembly elections. The minister made this last-minute call in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Anthony Forson reports.
In what can be better described as a wrap-up of the campaigns ahead of Saturday's election, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, drove around Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, amidst cheers from APC supporters chanting the Otoge mantra all the way. The minister then had a brief stopover where he addressed the supporters in Yoruba. But when we took him on to know what his message to them was, he was as simple as this.
Here I told them to come out in large numbers on Saturday. But Mr. President has promised us 100% security. So I told them to come out early in large numbers and vote for our party. In addition, they must not just leave the polling unit after voting. They must stand there and protect their votes, get the results, and accompany the result to the collation center, and that they should not sleep until after Abdurrahman Abdurazak has been officially declared governor of Kwara State.
In Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Now, still staying in Kwara, less than 48 hours to the governorship and Houses of Assembly elections in the state, the Labour Party has stepped down in support of the All Progressives Congress. This declaration was made in Ilorin by the gubernatorial candidate of the party, Comrade Issa Aremu, who mandated all his supporters to vote the APC gubernatorial candidate, Abdurazak Abdurrahman, in Saturday's election. Kemi Besisani reports.
Having examined the manifestos, policies and programs of the APC, Comrade Issa Aremu said Labour Party has aligned with the APC for a greater Kwara State.
What we have said today is loud and clear, that we get our members, Labour Party, and we are going to be on the road now, return back to the constituency, to make sure that they vote for Abrazak of APC for governorship.
With the other parties coming together and the people decamping, we expect bigger numbers this time around.
The APC gubernatorial candidate, Abdulrazak Abdurrahman, said his government will be an inclusive one. Kemi Bisisoni, NTA News.
In the meantime, ahead of Saturday's gubernatorial and state houses of assembly elections, the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room has asked the Independent National Electoral Commission to take steps necessary for a smooth conduct. Convener of the Situation Room, Clement Wankwo, urges the commission to learn from the mistakes of the presidential elections.
There were challenges with the way the administration of the election was conducted. This is an election that is much more localized, so there'll be a lot more interest, there'll be a lot more controversial, a lot more contentious. So we expect that INEC knows to start the polls early, knows to deliver materials, knows to be able to control the interference of the security in the elections, because it has statutory powers to define the extent of participation of security officials in these elections. So we are asking INEC to better manage this election than happened with the presidential and National Assembly elections.
The Situation Room advises politicians to shun acts that may lead to violence. Well, to stay with us here on Network News, we're back shortly.
Inner strength, yeah, that comes from the hard knocks that life throws at us. And we Nigerians, we know all about that.
Oh, a deadly right.
We don't stay down, we get up and fight. Sure, it's about speed, technique, quality of the punches, reach. But the real fight is with myself.
It's the power, but it's the speed as well.
But I can't carry this heavyweight title by myself. There's always got to be someone in my corner. And that's why I believe in Glow. We have that same tenacity, that Nigerian fighting spirit that makes us game changers. You have to dig deep to be a world champion. Yeah, we Nigerians, yeah, we know all about that.
What a fight!
Glow, our halo.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
On assumption to office in May 2015, Governor Abdullahi Ganduje promised to complete all abandoned projects and initiate new ones. In fulfillment of his promise, he has completed some 5-kilometer routes abandoned by the immediate past administration, completed Murtala Muhammad flyover, also abandoned at 20% stage, initiated and completed the Bokabo Barracks by Ofora Underpass Bridge, initiated and constructed the Madubi by Panshekara Interchange Bridge, ongoing construction of Zoo Road by Dengue Underpass Bridge, currently at 50% completion stage. The rural access mobility projects include 12.4 kilometer Kachakoto Senyawa, 8.7 kilometer Bebeji to Tariwa, 11.25 kilometer Garumalam to Agalawa, 7.5 kilometer Jogana to Yapata to Nahuche, completed the construction of 129 kilometer Karpi, Ranu, Bunkuri, Kibia, Sayasaya, Konar Sumaila to Pendinshe to Konar Madugu. Votes Governor Abdullahi Ganduje for continuity. This message is brought to you by Ganduje Gawana Volunteer Group under the leadership of Comrade Muhammad Garba and Murtala Silagaru.
So, how do I look, guys?
Aha!
What?
I see what's wrong. The wall doesn't match your elegance.
Then we must do something about it right away.
At Royal Ceramics, we offer you a wide range of beautiful wall and floor tiles designed specially to fit your lifestyle.
So, what do you guys think?
Thank goodness we changed to Royal Ceramic tiles. Like mother, like daughter.
Royal Ceramics. Finish in style.
Women of this great nation, Nigeria, we are the bedrock of our communities, and therefore it is time we perform our civic responsibility to vote. Vote the candidate of our choice in order to have a better nation and achieve a brighter future.
Gbogbo obìnrin lọ́dọ̀ lágbà àsìkò ti tó láti tú jáde lọ dìbò fún ẹni tí ẹ yàn láàyò kí ayé wa, ilé wa àti orílẹ̀-èdè wa kó lè dára.
To a gaishe ku mata, wannan lokaci ne da kowace mata za ta fita domin ta zaɓi wanda ya dace domin kyautatawa rayuwarmu da kuma na 'ya'yanmu don gobe.
Ndewo na ụmụ nwaanyị ibe m o. Ejibo ohere akpọkụ unu niile ka anyị pụta n'igwe anyị ka anyị benye aka nye onye kwesịrị ekwesị ka ọ chịa obodo anyị maka ọdịmma echi na ọdịmma ụmụntakịrị anyị.
Una no let the things we una no fit do. Stop una to do the ones we una fit do. Women, time don't reach to go vote for the person wey go sweet your mind. That candidate wey go make our life cool.
This message is brought to you by the National Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, and the National Human Rights Commission, with support from the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP.
Country people, time don't reach again, oh, when all of us go come out, take our hand, choose person when go be our governor, as the matter be so, make we shine our eyes, oh, follow the man when sabi the road, the man when don't prove to us, say, our problem, now in problem, our people talk, say, if road good, make we waka the road 2 times, so, Ebonyi State don't become Ogbonge paradise with better main road, street light, enough security, flyover bridges, barricaded everywhere, even water they run day and night, water of agriculture, health and education matter, uncle, the man don't do us well, oh. People when no get to chop, uncle, him they pay them every month. So therefore, my people, make we join hands or vote for this man when Sabi again. Make we vote for Apostle Engineer David Nwezo Umahi for 2nd tenure. Him go do us well. Now, friends and supporters of Ebonyi State Governor, they bring on this message. Oh.
The National Examination Council, NECO, wishes to inform the public the registration for the 2019 National Common Entrance Examination for admission into federal government unity colleges has commenced. Eligibility: final year pupil in primary school who are less than 10 years by September 2019. Registration for the examination is done on the new NECO website, www.neco.gov.ng. Registration fee, 2,500 naira per candidate. Payments are made into NECO TSA account through ATM, instant banking, Paga, pocket money, or direct banking payment. Closing date: 8 April 2019. Examination date: 13th April 2019. For further information, please contact www.neco.gov.ng or any NECO state office nearest to you. Abubakar M. Ghana, announcer.
If I knew Sinaka Chineke, Anuku Statio, Dinaka Chineke, Tubanu Fatuo, Akachukudia, Burusu Kanyo Bunacho, Arapodole, Orolamboja Bunu, Burusu Bani, Abuyaka Nigesoni, Tubanu Fatuo, Akachukudia. In the hands of a God, Nakachi over, all power belongs to God. In the hands of a God, put it diligence. Enugu State in the hands of God.
At the last general elections, only 47% of registered voters voted.
Only 47% performed their civic duties.
This year,
we will change that. Make healthcare, employment,
infrastructure an issue.
Polls open by 8 a.m. and close by 2 p.m.
After voting, stay back peacefully and ensure your votes are counted.
Report incidents and observation to the situation room.
Text or call
0802 181 2999
or
0909 5050 505.
Tweet at Situation Room NG.
Hashtag SR Observes 2019.
Hashtag SR 2019 elections. If you have your PVC,
get set.
Get set.
Get set. Get set to vote
in the governorship and state houses of assembly elections.
This is NTN Network News. Now let's turn our attention to the judiciary because the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has affirmed Ayogu Eze as the governorship candidate of the APC in Enugu State for forthcoming election. The appellate court, in a unanimous judgment by three-member panel led by Abdul Aboki on Thursday, set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court, which earlier affirmed George Ogara as the APC governorship candidate of the state. The APC held its primaries on October 4, and Mr. Ogara filed his suit at the Federal High Court on November 5. Justice Aboki voided the Federal High Court decision on the ground that the suit brought before the court is statute barred and not competent in law, having filed outside the mandatory 14 days in line with the provision of the law. Also, the Court of Appeal sitting in Jalingo has granted the application for the stay of execution and restraining order in the judgment by the Federal High Court that disqualified the Taraba State governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC from contesting the Saturday's 9th election. The court also gave an interim order for both parties to maintain status quo and stay all action. Joseph Zana Gambo completes the report.
Following the judgment delivered by the Federal High Court sitting in Jalingo on the 6th of March 2019, which disqualified the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, Alhaji Sani Abubakar Danladi, from contesting the governorship race and also parading himself as the party's standard bearer, counsel to the appellant Yakubu Mekaswa filed an appeal before the Court of Appeal, seeking the court to set aside the judgment. In an ex parte application filed on the 7th of March 2019 before the court, in view of the expediency of the matter at hand, counsel to the appellant Yakubu Mekaswa prayed the court to grant a stay of execution and restraining order on the judgment delivered by the lower court. In an argument presented before the court, counsel noted that the applicant is a governorship candidate of a political party whose election is fixed for the 9th of March 2019 and prayed the court to protect the right of the applicant. Counsel also maintained that the applicant has demonstrated good faith by promptly applying for the compilation of the records and paid for same, and urged the court to grant a stay of execution on the earlier judgment delivered by the lower court. After listening to all briefs and submissions made by counsel to the appellant, the presiding judge, Justice Chidi Nwaoma Uwa, in an alternative relief, ordered both parties to maintain status quo and stay all action in the interim. The presiding judge, who described the matter at hand as a special case, granted the application for the stay of execution and restraining order on the judgment delivered by the lower court. The case has been adjourned to the 9th of April 2019 for further hearing. In Jalingo, Joseph Zana Gambo, NTA News.
The federal government has directed the closure of all Nigeria land borders with effect from 12 noon on Friday, 8th March to 12 noon of Sunday, 10th March 2019. A statement signed by the Comptroller General, Nigeria Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandede, says the Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazao, gave the directive in furtherance to the gubernatorial and state houses of assembly elections taking place on Saturday, 9th March 2019. The public is to take note and ensure compliance. The former chairman board of directors of one of the new generation banks, Tunde Ayeni, has been arraigned before Federal Capital Territory High Court in Apo. Tunde Ayeni, alongside Timothy Oguntayo, are standing trial of 4-count charge bordering on alleged criminal breach of trust running into over 4 billion naira. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, which arraigned the defendants, is alleging the duo for conspiring at different times to fraudulently divert the depositors' funds domiciled in their bank. The defendants pleaded not guilty of the allegations. The presiding judge, Justice Valentine, granted them bail in the sum of 500 million naira and 2 shorties, each in like sum. We now join Lagos for more stories from that end with Ingenu John Adams. Ingenu, is over to you.
Thank you, Joseph, and welcome to Lagos. Stakeholders from the corporate sector have organized a book reading session with about 300 pupils in Lagos as part of efforts to tackle the challenge of poor reading culture in the society. Nenrot Nina Musa reports that the exercise is one of the activities by Fidelity Bank PLC to mark the 2019 World Book Day.
The 2019 World Book Day celebration, which has as its theme, Share a Story, seeks to reenact the original purpose of the day since inception in 1995, which is to bring children of all ages together to appreciate the art of reading. The 90-page book, titled Chudubem, the Child of Destiny, authored by 11-year-old Munachi Ubonu, was a story shared to pupils, teachers, and parents present at the reading session.
Nowadays, kids are addicted to social media and stuff. They don't really want to pick up books. They think it's boring and punishment at times. But reading, it's nice. It's exciting.
Drawn from 15 different schools, the initiative, organizers say, is aimed at making reading an enjoyable experience and not just some boring chore.
Wherever you find the materials, whether you're reading it electronically or you're reading books, we should encourage our kids to read books, because that way you broaden your mind, and no classroom education can equate the need to read and expand, what you already know.
We're looking at basically trying to focus in on African authors, literally talking about the idea of Nigerian writers and what they're playwrights and poets, so that we can also help garner the next generation.
We're hoping that from this event, more young authors will come up.
Some beneficiaries who shared their experience said it was fun.
I learned about many things, like how to spell and how to read more.
Climax of the event was a spelling bee competition, which had the winners rewarded with gift items as well as an opportunity of owning a child account worth 30,000 naira for the second runner-up, 50,000 naira for the first runner-up, and 70,000 naira for the overall winner. In Lagos, Nerot Nina Musa, NTA News.
One of Africa's leading manufacturers of cement, Dangote, has rewarded its distributors and customers for their loyalty and patronage in the 2018 financial year. Amaka Owo reports that the company is one of the largest listed companies on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
It was a show of appreciation by management of Dangote Cement to her customers for their unflinching support towards the growth of the company. The event was a gala and award night. The chairman, Dangote Group of Companies, Aliko Dangote, promises to expand cement production in Africa.
We'll have something like the tune of about $600 million of cement to export rather than importing. So there's a major change, a major shift. We have terminals that are going to come up in One and in Lagos. Hopefully by that time the congestion of the port might be, behind us, and I'm sure we'll be able to export quite a lot.
Other executive members of the company harped on the importance of adding value to customers for optimal performance.
They are bedrock, and the customers make or break us. So whatever it is we do, we have to not just grow our business, but we have to grow the businesses of our customers.
We're in 10 African countries. So Dangote, what used to be Dangote Nigeria, is now Dangote Africa.
Winners emerge from 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Beatrice Okika won the overall best.
A big thank you to our president for his numerous gifts and empowerment.
Other categories include Corporate Customer Awards and National Growth Awards. Customers say Dangote Cement is a product of choice in Nigeria. In Lagos, Amaka O, NT News.
This is still NTA Network News. More reports with Joseph after this timeout. Please stay with us.
Data. We can't live without it. Share it. Impress with it. Borrow it. But with Glow, data is oxygen.
Team huddle.
But we lost.
Don't be tired, guys. This is a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
Here you go.
Madam.
That's it. Those naira are enough.
Hi, dear. Helen! You got so much even after spending so little.
Savings is such a necessity.
You save everywhere, but here, you lose it all.
How?
With this?
Impossible.
New Tika Apic 10X. Even after applying up to 1 liter of your solution multiple times, you won't get the same cleaning that Apic gives you in a single round.
And the expense?
Far less compared to your 1 liter of solution. New Tika Apic. Toughen cleaning, toughen savings.
Getting around heartburn and indigestion can be tricky if you eat too much. Eat food that is too spicy or greasy, or lie down after eating. Heartburn and indigestion could always be around the corner. When they come, be prepared with Gaviscon Double Action. It works within 3 minutes and lasts up to 8 hours. Gaviscon Double Action. Many causes, one solution.
Tupu Apostle Engineer David Nwezumahi ewere ọkwa ọchịchị Ebonyi steeti dịka mkpọmkpọ ebe ajọ ụzọ ma bụrụkwa ndị a na-eleda anya ndị na-enweghị ọnụ okwu n'obodo anyị bụ Nigeria maka ọdụ ugbu a ihe ndị ahụ niile abụrụgori akụkọ mgbe ochie dịka odogwu nwoke abụ Engineer David Nwezumahi hichapụgoro ya bụ nsogbu niile a n'otu ntabi anya ndị Igbo sịrị na ihe kwuru ihe akwụdebe ya nwunye gọvanọ Ebonyi bụ Rachel Umahi Nweze agbago mbọ nke ukwuu site na inye ndị ụwa na-atụ n'ọnụ ezigbo enyemaka ụmụ nwaanyị ise mkpe na ụmụaka ndị na-enweghị nne na nna enyego ha ọnọdụ ọma ihe agba n'aka eje enye agba ya nkiri lezienụ ka ndụ na-atọ ndị ụwa na-atụ n'ọnụ ụtọ ọ bụrụ ihe akụbara ọha na-eme na Ebonyi steeti akụbara ọha jide ka iji ịbụ ọdịmma na-eme mma ya mere ndị Ebonyi kwado Apostle Engineer David Nwezumahi nke ugboro abụọ binyere PDP aka ọ bụ ndị enyi na ndị nkwado nke gọvanọ Ebonyi steeti na-ewetara unu ozi.
Glad to have you back in the news. This is business. Value of agriculture export rose by 77.37% from $170 billion Naira in Q4 of 2018, while the value of agric imports declined by 3.9% from 886.7 billion Naira in 2017 to 851 billion Naira in 2018. Now, this is according to the recent data released by the National Bureau of Statistics. The data revealed that the agric reforms of the present administration is already yielding the needed results. To further sustain the rice revolution and increase export potentials of locally produced rice, some rice marketers have initiated the training of rice farmers in the FCT and 22 states of the Federation to build capacity of the rice producers in the country.
During a project in Nasarawa and Niger State from 2011 to 2016. So one of the technologies developed was this force bottom parboiling technology. The idea of the technology is for parboilers to steam their rice instead of cooking it. Using this method improves the quality of the rice produced, invariably increases the profit they make from it.
And now turning our attention to the capital market, where investors approached the fourth trading day of the week with a caution. It led to a slowdown in activities to see the market's all-share index depreciated by 0.35%. It closed at 32,010.06 basis points, and 3,519 deals were executed, worth 2.7 1.39 billion naira. Market capitalization stood at 11.9 trillion naira. Now, away from the capital market, in its determination to ensure privatized enterprises in the country provide dividends to its citizenry in line with privatization policy of the federal government, the Bureau of Public Enterprises, BPE, has inaugurated 4 committees to come up with a mechanism for addressing the complexities and challenges hindering growth and development of some privatized enterprises in the country, which were handed over to the core investors over 10 years ago. Now, inaugurating the committee in Abuja, Director General of the Bureau, Mr. Alex Oko, noted that the committees are also expected to provide policy makers with further insight into the practical realities facing the sector in which the enterprises were privatized and provide credible solutions to addressing the problems. Now, they are committees on the housing sector, mines and steel development, oil palm and automobiles. Joseph, it's over to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Chimobi. Okay, the federal government, through the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, in Plateau State, is disbursing loans to 200 women and youths in the state. Former Deputy Governor of Plateau State, Pauline Tallinn, facilitated the program, which was flagged off at Conference Hall of Federal Secretariat, Jos. Ijoma Ozemena reports.
Taking cognizance of the population explosion, changing global trend and its devastating effect on the economy, the present administration deemed it necessary to empower women and youth, including the physically challenged, on cosmetology. With the additional number of empowered individuals in soap and pomade making, the training will produce a generation of skilled artisans and technicians who will service the economy in their various vocations.
The President is given the necessary support to NDE so that women and youths will be engaged in doing things that will sustain their livelihood.
The state governor, represented by the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Usman Yakubu Idi, said the state government has always been a partner in resuscitating programs of the NDE, which has translated into skilled entrepreneurs and employers of labor.
You can only progress if you appreciate the little that has been given to you. We have been actively involved in investing in the lives of our people.
The beneficiaries were urged to make good use of the opportunity and contribute to wealth creation during the training.
I hope to achieve a lot, and then probably at the end of the day, I'll have to establish myself.
In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
Let's take another break. Join us again.
Celebration of life. The families of Ogbefu and Osemegi announced the celebration of the life and times of their mother, grand and great-grandmother, Deaconess Mrs. Cecilia Izogie Ogbefu, née Osemegi, at the age of 100 years. She is survived by 10 children, many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Obsequies, Thursday, 7th March 2019, 12 noon to 4 p.m., lying in state and service of songs at a residence, 50 Ahios of Angia Street off Erunse Street, Benin City. 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m., funeral service and interment at 19 Uwaifu Street, Obsoloko Road, Benin City. Friday, 8 March 2019, socials and entertainment at Garrick Memorial School Field, Ekema Road, Benin City. Time 10 a.m. Sunday, 10th March 2019 at 10 a.m., Thanksgiving at Christ Apostolic Church of God Mission, Ugbowo, Benin City. May her generous soul rest in peace. Amen. Signed, Greg Ogbefun, for the families.
And in sports, new mini stadium inaugurated in Dawakin Kudu, Kano, as South African Trade Union challenges racism in sports. Tamara Ibiwe brings us details on our sports update.
Minister of Youth and Sports Development Solomon Dalung has reiterated the commitment of the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration in reinvigorating government area of Kano State, alongside Governor